Good morning. Today's class we are going to discuss about breathing and exchange of gases, means respiration. Okay guys, today's topic is breathing and exchanging of gases. Most commonly it is called as respiration. Means we are going to discuss about respiratory system. Come on. Next slide please. Here basically what is the fundamental concept of respiration? Most of the people what they feel, taking off oxygen, releasing of carbon dioxide is called as respiration. But in detailed, in the cellular level, what happens, the food molecules like glucose break down into small pieces like carbon dioxide and water by utilizing the oxygen is called respiration. Means in the organism's body two types of metabolic activities takes place. They are anabolism, catabolism. Anabolism means it is a constructive process, means like photosynthesis. Catabolism means it is a destructive process, means here the large biomolecules are break down into small pieces. It is called catabolism. Example, respiration. In the cellular level what happens, 6 carbon molecule glucose is break down into carbon dioxide and water by releasing some amount of energy. This is the basic skeleton of respiration. What is happens inside of the cell as glycolysis and Krebs cycle, right? So here oxygen utilized by organisms indirectly to break down nutrient molecules like glucose to derive energy for performing various activities. All the organisms are performing various activities. For that energy is getting from the oxidation of the glucose only. Because of the oxidation of the glucose, what happens? It is liberating carbon dioxide, which is harmful to the organisms. That's why at the time of respiration, the organisms can receive oxygen and liberates carbon dioxide. Okay guys? Okay. Here most accurately the process of breakdown of glucose like material to provide energy in the cellular level is called as respiration. The respiration most accurate definition. But whereas taking of oxygen and releasing of carbon dioxide in the external conditions, it is called breathing. Okay, you must separate the thing, breathing as well as respiration. Respiration includes cellular level of exchanging of gases, whereas breathing includes it is exchanging of gases with the environment. Both the process can be included in this phenomenon. Okay guys, come on, next please. Here we are discussing about types of respirations. Actually we have discussed already. The glucose molecule break down into carbon dioxide and water. This takes place inside of the cell. In the cytoplasm, glucose molecule break down into 2 pyruvic acids. This process is called as glycolysis. The pyruvic acids inside of the mitochondria again break down into carbon dioxide and water, that can be called as a Krebs cycle. So in the respiration, two phases are mainly, they are glycolysis and Krebs cycles are. Okay guys? Okay. So here in the respiration, two methodologies takes place. Without oxygen, with oxygen. If the organisms are taking the respiration without utilizing oxygen, that is called anaerobic respiration. Guys, okay? Anaerobic respiration means without utilizing oxygen, if the organisms are performing breakdown of glucose molecule, it is called anaerobic respiration. Means it is called incomplete breakdown. Okay. For that example, in yeast and bacteria, the process of fermentation takes place. Process of fermentation means in the yeast and bacteria also glycolysis takes place. After glycolysis, the pyruvic acid is converted into ethyl alcohol and carbon dioxide only. Ethyl alcohol and carbon dioxide only. This is not a complete breakdown of glucose molecules. That's why it is given only 2 ATPs. Okay na? Because of the anaerobic respiration in yeast and bacteria, the phenomenon is called as a fermentation. Because of the fermentation, from a single glucose molecule, it is giving only 2 ATPs. Okay guys? Okay. Next, whereas in vertebrate muscles, means in the humans also, during the muscle fatigue, what happens, the 6 carbon glucose molecule is break down into 3 carbon molecule pyruvic acids. The pyruvic acid again converted into lactic acid. The accumulation of the lactic acid in the muscles is called as muscle fatigue. Okay guys? Here also you have to remember, by the breakdown of, incomplete breakdown of this glucose molecule, it is given only 2 ATPs only. Here also only 2 ATPs. Okay? In the fermentation, 2 ATPs, as well as during the muscle fatigue also, anaerobic respiration takes place in the vertebrates muscles. Here also by the incomplete breakdown of glucose, it is giving 2 ATPs only. Okay guys? Right. The last one. What is the last one means? Aerobic respiration. Means complete breakdown of glucose molecule. Complete breakdown of glucose molecule by utilizing oxygen. That's why it is called as aerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration means the glucose molecule is completely oxidized by utilizing oxygen into carbon dioxide and water, is called aerobic respiration. Here 36 ATP are produced. 36. You know what is ATP? ATP is energy currency. Energy currency. So 36 ATP molecules are produced by complete breakdown of glucose molecules by utilizing the oxygen in cytoplasm as well as mitochondria, is called as aerobic respiration. So the aerobic respiration main center is mitochondria. In the mitochondria only ATPs are produced in the huge quantities by the process of phosphorylation. That's why mitochondria is called as a powerhouse of the cell, because it is producing ATPs. Okay guys? Here a simple logic. The The aerobic respiration is oxidation. A combustion also oxidation. Okay, both are oxidation of organic substances only. But how the aerobic respiration is different with combustion means the combustion is not regulated by any enzymes. It is a sudden breakdown of all bonds. So immediately energy is liberated. It is called combustion. But whereas in aerobic respiration, the breakdown of the bonds is regulated by certain enzymes in the certain levels. So here energy is slowly liberated. Like that, aerobic respiration can be different with combustion. In the aerobic respiration, as it is taking the oxidation of the glucose, this is called as a calorie burner. Calorie burner. As it is providing 36 ATPs, this is also called as energy provider. This is also called energy provider. Respiration is a calorie burner or energy provider. Have a look, please. Okay, guys. Next, we are discussing about respiratory structures in different animals. Means the respiration is most commonest phenomenon in the unicellular organisms as well as highly developed multicellular organisms also. So, in the various categories of organisms, various styles of respiratory organs are developed. So, let us discuss those respiratory structures from simplest organisms. Suppose the protozoans. Protozoans means amoeba, euglena, paramecium, like these organisms are called protozoans. The protozoans are taking the respiration by means of simple diffusion. They can exchange the gases from the surroundings. They can take the oxygen into the body as well as they can release the carbon dioxide into the water through plasma lemma only. That is a simple diffusion. As well as porifera. Porifera means sponges. Sponges, cellular level organization. They are not having specific organs for the process of respiration. That's why the simple sponges also taking the respiration by means of simple diffusion, by means of gases exchange directly with the water. All the cells directly exchange the gases with the water, simple diffusion. Whereas in porifera and sponges also. In cnidarians also. Cnidaria means coelenterata. Coelenterata example Hydra. This one is Hydra. Even Hydra also tissue level organization is present. It is not having any organs. It is not having organs. It is only tissues level. That's why in Hydra also, Hydra means cnidarians also, by means of simple diffusion, they can take gases exchange from water to body. As well as Ctenophora. Ctenophora means Ctenoplana, Pleurobrachia, like those organisms, comb jellies. Okay, these organisms also not having the organs, having tissue level organization only. So that's why all the cells from the body directly gases exchange takes place with surrounding water. Okay, here protozoans, poriferans, cnidarians, ctenoporans also taking directly gases exchange with the environment. Environment means atmosphere. Afterwards, platyhelminthes. Platyhelminthes means flatworms. In the flatworms, two categories of organisms are there: free living organisms, parasitic organisms. The free living organisms are present outside, so they are also taking the respiration by means of diffusion only from the body wall, because it is also not having any organs for respiration, right? For that example, planaria. Parasites like liver fluke, Fasciola hepatica, Tinea solium, Tinea saginata, Cystosoma hematobium, blood fluke. All these organisms are present inside of the body. As they are present inside of the body they are not available with oxygen. That's why they are taking anaerobic respiration in flatworms, parasitic flatworms. Okay guys, have a look please. Come on, next. After platyhelminthes, aschelminthes means nematohelminthes. They are also called as roundworms. In the roundworms also two categories are there: free living organisms, parasitic organisms. The free living organisms like Caenorhabditis elegans. Caenorhabditis elegans. This is commonly known as rhabditis. Okay, now this is taking respiration by the process of diffusion only. Why? Because in nematodes also organs are not well developed. Next, whereas the parasitic roundworms like Ascaris lumbricoids, Ochrarea bancrofti, Ankylostoma duodenal, okay, Enterobius vermicularis means roundworm, hookworm, threadworm, filariworm, eyeworm. All these organisms are parasitic nematodes, means roundworms. These are best examples to the facultative anaerobes. Facultative anaerobe. You better to call them as facultative anaerobes rather than anaerobes. Why? Because in presence of oxygen, in availability of oxygen, when they are exposed to the environment, they take aerobic respiration. In absence of free oxygen inside of our body, they are taking anaerobic respiration. Means these organisms can play aerobic as well as anaerobic also. That's why they are called as facultative anaerobes. Next, very interesting, Annelida. Annelida, already you have studied. Earthworm you have studied, leech you have studied. Annelids are taking a cutaneous respiration. The earthworm, even leech, also the body wall is very moisture. The moisture body wall is participating, exchanging of oxygen and carbon dioxide with environment through body wall. Okay? After that, in Annelida, one another group that is called Polychaeta. The polychaetes also called as bristleworms. The bristle are having vascularized parapodia. The vascularized parapodia is participating in respiration like gills. Okay, here parapodia are acting as gills in aquatic bristleworms. The bristleworms are aquatic, marine they are. That's why here the parapodia are acting as gills in Annelida. That is a separate example. After that, arthropoda. Arthropoda also you have studied in detail in the first year classes. In the arthropods, arthropoda is the biggest phylum. In the biggest phylum, the aquatic arthropods are crustaceans. What are the crustaceans? Means prawns, crabs, lobsters. All these are coming under aquatic arthropods. As they are aquatic arthropods, they are having the gills. The gills are respiratory organs in aquatic arthropods. It is called bronchial respiration. Suppose this is the prawn. Prawn is having the respiration with the help of the gills. Okay guys? Right. Next we are discussing about limulus. Limulus also commonly known as king crab. This is very ancient arthropod. That's why the limulus or king crab is called as a living fossil. The living fossil. This is. Okay, the shell appears like a horseshoe. That's why this is also called as horseshoe crabs. Right? These are taking respiration with the help of the gills. Please, Babu, zoom. Here, with the help of this gills, here, this is the location. Okay, the gills are right. Here, this is limulus. Limulus having the gills like a pages in the book. That's why in the limulus, the gills are called as book gills. Book gills. Because here gill lamellae appears like a pages in a book. That's why they are called as book gills, which are used for aquatic respiration in the living fossils. Okay guys? Right. Next we discuss about arachnids. Arachnids means spiders, scorpions, ticks. In that they are taking respiration with the help of book lungs. You don't get confused. In the limulus, it is book gills. Book gills for aquatic respiration. In the spider, it is book lungs. In the spider, scorpion, ticks, it is a book lungs, not book gills, because this is a terrestrial mode of respiration. Here also lungs appears like a pages in the book. One side it is having the blood, another side it is having the air. Okay, here the lungs appears like a pages in the book. That's why these are called as book lungs for aerial respiration in arachnids. After that, most dominant group of the arthropoda is insects, centipedes, millipedes. All these are most successful terrestrial organisms. That's why in insects, centipedes, millipedes, tracheal respiration takes place. You remember, you guys, tracheal respiration. What is the importance of the tracheal respiration means in these organisms, respiratory pigment is absent. No hemoglobin, no hemocyanin. That's why the air directly enters into the body with some type of tubes that are called trachea. That's why that respiration is called tracheal respiration. In the tracheal respiration, the gases directly reach the tissues. But whereas in crustaceans as well as in arachnids, respiratory pigment hemocyanin is present. That's why their respiration takes place through the gills, because they are having respiratory pigment. Here is no respiratory pigment. That's why the air directly reaches to the tissues through the tracheal system. Okay? Have a look, please. Come on, next. Next, mollusca. After Arthropoda, mollusca, second largest phylum it is. In the molluscans, most of they are aquatic organisms. In the aquatic organisms, they having the gills. In the molluscans, gills are called as ctenidia. They are feather-like structures. They are called ctenidia. According to NCERT, the ctenidia are useful for respiration as well as for excretion also. For that example, you know. Right? After that, some of the molluscans are also terrestrial. Some of them are amphibians, like gastropods. All the gastropods can survive on the land also. Okay? So, in such organisms, along with ctenidia, they having pulmonary sacs, some bag-like structures in the body. They are called lungs. Lungs means, don't you imagine like human lungs. They are just sacs. They are called pulmonary sacs technically. They are also called lungs because as they are participating in a terrestrial mode of aerial respiration. Whereas most of the molluscans are aquatic, that's why they are having ctenidia for respiration. Okay, only in the gastropods, most commonly you can see the pulmonary sacs, which are helps in terrestrial mode of respiration also. Next, echinodermata. Okay, echinodermata. In echinodermata, dermal brachiae, tubular feet are most commonest respiratory organs. Example, starfish. In the starfish, dermal brachiae and tubular feet. Tubular feet means you have studied in the water vascular system. The last structure is called tubular feet, which is participating in locomotion as well as for gases exchange also. Afterwards, this is a small piece of starfish body wall. The starfish is having spines all over the body. Between the spines, a small sac-like structure is there. The sac-like structure is called as dermal brachiae. Dermal brachiae, which is participating in aquatic respiration. Right? After that, interesting in sea cucumbers. Sea cucumbers means holothuroidians. In the holothuroidians, cloacal respiratory trees are present. The cloacal respiratory trees are participating in respiration in holothuroidians, means in sea cucumbers. Next, hemichordata. Hemichordata means they commonly known as the tongue worms. The tongue worms are acorn worms. Okay, they are hemichordates. They are taking respiration with pharyngeal gill slits. Example, Balano glasses. Example, Balano glasses. The last but not least, chordates. In the chordates, the first one are called urochordates. The first chordates are urochordates. In urochordates, huge number of the pharyngeal gills are present. In the chordates, huge quantity of the pharyngeal gill slits are present in urochordates only. Example, headmania. Right? Pharyngeal gill slits are participating in the respiration. Next, cephalocardata. Cephalocardata example, branchiostoma. Branchiostoma. They also called as lancelets. Here, what is the interesting aspect in cephalocardata? In cephalocardata, gill slits are present. But gill slits are not used for respiration. The gill slits are only used for suspension filter feeding only in cephalocardata. Then how they can perform respiration? Respiration takes place by the diffusion through entire body surface. In cephalocardata, from body surface only gaseous exchange takes place, not gills. Why? Because here respiratory pigment is absent. In cephalocardates also respiratory pigment is absent. That's why only through surface diffusion only gaseous exchange takes place. Afterwards, vertebrata. In the vertebrates, fishes, cyclostomes taking respiration with the help of the gills. You know that. But whereas in some fishes like dipnoi fishes, in the dipnoi fishes, the lungs also supplementing in the respiration. Okay? That's why the dipnoi fishes are called as lung fishes. Okay? In that it is taking gill respiration as well as lung respiration also. After that, interesting aspect in amphibians. Amphibians already we have studied frog in previous year. In the frog, most commonly respiration takes place through the moisture skin. Moisture skin, it is participating in gaseous exchange. As it is present in the water as well as in the dormant stage, even on the land also. Okay? But whereas in addition to the skin, on the land, it is also participating in bucco-pharyngeal respiration as well as a pulmonary respiration too. So, in the frog-like amphibians, it is taking a cutaneous respiration, bucco-pharyngeal respiration, pulmonary respiration. 3 types of respirations can be seen in adult amphibians. Whereas the larva of amphibians, definitely it is aquatic. So, it is taking gill breathing. Okay? The larva of amphibians, as it is aquatic, it is taking gill breathing. Afterwards, reptiles. In the reptiles, respiration takes place through the lungs only, as usual. But whereas in the reptiles, turtles means marine organisms, marine chelonians. They are having a vascular cloaca. The vascular cloaca is participating in respiration. Okay? Afterwards, taking the respiration with the help of the lungs means pulmonary respiration. Okay? Have a look, please. Next. So, in the previous slides, we have discussed about various respiratory structures. Now we are entering into the respiratory system of human being. The respiration involves the following steps in the humans. In the humans, the respiration occurs in these 5 steps. In that first one is breathing or pulmonary ventilation. The first one is breathing or pulmonary ventilation. Means taking the oxygen from the environment to the alveoli, releasing the carbon dioxide from lungs to the outside. That is called breathing or pulmonary ventilation In some occasions, it is also called as external respiration. Deals with the environment, atmosphere. The second one is diffusion. Diffusion of the gases. Suppose if you have taken oxygen into the alveoli, in the alveoli, the oxygen enters into the blood. As well as blood releases carbon dioxide into the alveoli. Like that, the gases exchange takes place between the alveoli and to the blood. It is called diffusion. The third stage is the transportation of the gases by the blood. Means gases diffused into the blood. Oxygen is diffused into the blood, into the hemoglobin. There it is carried all over to the body. Okay, that is called transportation of oxygen. Okay, there it is collecting the carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is given to the lungs. Means here through the blood, oxygen is given to the all over the body parts, as well as it is collecting the carbon dioxide from the all body parts and given to the lungs. Means it is changing the oxygen and carbon dioxide from the tissues to the lungs. Okay guys? Right. Next, diffusion. Here diffusion between the blood and the tissues. You remember, in the first diffusion, the exchange of the gases between alveoli to the blood. In the second diffusion, blood to tissues. Suppose from the blood, oxygen is enters into the tissues. From the tissues, carbon dioxide is enters into the blood. That is the exchange between the blood and the tissues. The last part of the respiration. It is called cellular respiration or internal respiration. Cellular respiration or internal respiration. Already we have discussed it in the introduction part. Here the breakdown of the glucose molecule takes place. Okay, the breakdown of the glucose molecules, glycolysis as well as a Krebs cycle. As a result, it is producing 36 ATPs. It is called cellular respiration, which is regulated by the certain enzymes. So, in the process of respiration, all these 5 stages can be seen in most of the organisms. So, what we have studied in the previous slides, the respiratory structures mostly they belongs to only external respiration. They are only for breathing. They are only for ventilation only. The rest of the 4 stages can be studied in detailed in the human respiratory system. Okay guys? Okay. Have a look. Take your time. Happy moments. Bye.